Hello, honorable members of the class. So let's go to the Nogauteng High Court. In case you are seeing me sweating bullets, I was running so that I'm able to do this video. So guys, let's talk about the methods going on in Rata's courtroom. Let's start with the interpreter snitching on Miss Mshololo, basically calling Brigadier Gininda Colonel. I mean, again, who blames Miss Mshololo when we've had a slew of colonels on that stand? I'll be confused too. What are you, Brigadier? What, Lieutenant? What are you, Captain? We're just gonna call you Colonel because we've had so many of them on that stand. I mean, I don't blame her. You know what they say about snitches? They get. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But it was quite interesting for me. Guys, there is something that keeps bothering me, and it has been bothering me for the longest time, especially when it comes to the initial investigators. Now we understand that when you do an investigation in a crime scene like that of Senzo Meyiwa, where there were eyewitnesses that were with the deceased, and when they start their investigations, they are going to confiscate communication devices, which are cell phones, right? Now, what we also understand that it's not only about downloads, but also seeking permission by from the law to get into those cell phones, whether to download or get other information out of the download, and including calls, SMSs, data calls, whatever it is that they investigate there. And that comes in a form of a 205, right? Now, we've been told that the records of 2014 coming all the way, I think 2019, they've been deleted by Vodacom. So now where are the 205s of the initial investigators? Because they should have obtained those 205s. And these are the same 205, just like all the other evidence that Gininda keeps referring to coming from the initial investigators, because he keeps saying, I wasn't there, I got the docket. So if you got the docket or you inherited the docket in 2018, surely there should have been other very vital information in that docket that includes those cell phones that were confiscated from the eyewitnesses themselves, because there is a call that we are looking for. There is that call we are looking for from Tumelo Madlala to Mr. Sope. And then you ask yourself, this is not a convenience for you that Gininda just happens to get this information but does not get the crucial information. Does that make sense to you? Because it doesn't make sense to me at all. And this has been bothering me for the longest time. Like, no, wait. Now that we understand how investigations work, where are the 205s? Because the initial investigating team ought to have obtained those 205s back in 2014, and they ought to have always had them in the docket. Can we have the lead investigator of back then to come and answer this question? Why didn't you request 205s of those cell phones? Did you just go into people's personal information without seeking permission? I don't understand that part. Can it be explained? Maybe it was, I missed it, and it's quite upsetting. The other thing that upsetting me about Gininda right now, they are playing Ukingwigongo with the accused, including us, the public. Kingwigongo means seesaw. They are playing seesaw. When we had Colonel Stan on the stand, he was saying, I cannot answer this question. You're going to have to ask Brigadier Gininda. He's the one who is in the best position to answer this question. You have to ask Brigadier Gininda. Ask Brigadier Gininda. Ask Brigadier Gininda. Same goes Mohola, Mukhano, everybody. Ask Gininda. And everybody was anticipating for Gininda to come and wrap up this by indeed saying, I did say this, I did say that, I did order this, I did request for that, etc. and so on. But now, suddenly, Gininda is not an expert. Please ask the expert. Gingwe gongo. Gingwe gongo. This is not right. It's like how Gininda keeps going back to every time there's a denial by the accused, he will go to HH and JJ. Exhibit H and Exhibit JJ. Now, because he's pinned against the corner, he's like, this one, it will be self-incriminating for the investigating team, especially to me. So I'm just going to throw this back to Mr. Steyn, who, by the way, said he has had enough with this. So now he needs to be called back. Mr. Steyn needs to be called back on the stand because the lead investigator has said some things that we need answers for. Unfortunately, Mr. Steyn, you cannot get away from this one. And when you do get to the stand, you can now throw the baton back to Mr. Gininda, because we can also call Mr. Gininda and we'll play this Ginwikongo throughout this trial. It's sickening. It's absolutely sickening. And then the PDF versus what do you call this, Microsoft Word. Yes, Miss Pinky Vitalingham said there is no way that we are going to send a Microsoft Word records. They come in a PDF. They come in a PDF. Now comes Mr. Gininda trying to explain away that, oh, well, sometimes the police or the investigators will make a request at the TSU to basically convert the PDF into a Microsoft Word. Is that what the law says, though? Is that what the law says, though? And now, can we have those people that did the conversion understand as well? Because we got questions. They cannot get away with, oh, I'm just going to shift the blame here. And then when the person that you shifted the blame on comes to court and then you shift it back, this is not a tennis game we are playing. We are not playing tennis games here, honestly speaking. And then the other thing about authentication, I agree with Ms. Mshololo. And authentication is when you have the original device and say, okay, let's look at the downloads that were done in 2014, the EMI, whatever numbers and series and what, and then get the device, open the device and make sure that the EMI is correct, the serial number is correct, this is correct, and now let's get into the downloads. Oh yeah, they match. That is authentication to me. I know the word authentication, sometimes it can be difficult to pronounce. Even myself, I had to practice it. Authentication, authentic. So do not make memes out of Miss Mshololo because she could not say authentication. Honestly speaking, authentication. Yeah, I mean, it's not that easy, especially when you are under pressure to come up with a result and save a life of a man that could go to jail for a crime he did not commit, right? And then my favorite part of this whole thing was Vodacom records versus downloads. Which one carries more weight, do you think? Because there's no way that the downloads are going to override the Vodacom records. No matter what Gininda tries to say on that stand, there is no way that the downloads are going to override the Vodacom records. The Vodacom records are the ones that we are going with. And I say, Mr. Gininda, even the last time when the Vodacom records said the 5 accused, they were nowhere near the Khumalo house, let alone in Vosloorus around 5:30 p.m. on the 26th of October 2014. But no, Gininda brings them back. Okay, with what evidence coming from Vodacom that brings them back to Vosloorus? Does that make sense to you? It's like the transparent money bag, which is a meme, by the way, that everybody passes around. Because, hey, some people, I remember that money bag, some people would use it as a manifestation tool. Others would use it as an affirmation tool. Others would use it as something to throw around if somebody is rich and somebody else is poor and there's some kind of conflict between the two of them. And then the other one would just send a meme like, seriously, why should I deal with you? Look at me, I got all this money. Type of situation. So there's a lot that's going on in that courtroom, and the part that also now, just recently before they went for a short adjournment, is the ganging up on Ms. Mshololo. You have the judge, you have the state, and then you have Gininda, who jumps right inside while the judge and the state is talking. And I think I have a reason to think and probably even believe that, yeah, Mr. Gininda is quite feared. I mean, listen to the interpreter. The interpreter, he was short of saying, hey, as your humble servant, did you hear Miss Michelle calling you a colonel? Like, and then Gininda's like, no, it's okay. It's okay. I don't know what he meant by that. I don't know. Maybe he's like, well, she's the one who's confusing the record, so why should I care? Type of situation. I don't know why he's not correcting Miss Mshololo. And the part that also baffles me is Judge, who is into ranks. Not once has he said, Miss Mshololo, this witness right here, he is a brigadier, not a colonel. Then again, going back to what I said earlier, we've had so many colonels on that stand. Now, any police officer that takes the stand, whether you're a captain or a warrant officer or a whatever they call them, I would also say colonel. Because clearly, Senso Mewa was unalived in the police station in the presence of colonels. I don't know, guys. Anyways, guys, before they come back, let me stop right here. There's still a lot that I want to say that took place. This took place in the North High Court this morning, which is quite funny and upsetting at the same time. I'm having an oxymoron type of roller coaster emotions here in this today's proceedings. Quite interesting, I must say. But anyways, guys, let me continue with what I'm doing while I'm listening and continue to sweat like you can see right now. I'll see you later. Please do not leave the video without liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. And I'll see you later. Goodbye.